More than 1 billion people use an iPhone. Today we go inside the Apple iPhone factory to see how this device is built.
This place runs 24 hours a day. Millions of phones start their life right here.
We're at the main gate. Every shift begins here. You can feel how much energy this place has.
We start in the biometrics hall. Everyone checks in here before moving deeper into the factory.
Badges track where you go. With this many workers, organization is everything.
This step removes dust. A single particle can ruin a lens or circuit trace.
Now we're cleared to enter the precision areas. Let's see where the real magic starts.
We're in the substrate hall. These wafers become the chips that power every iPhone.
This room prints circuits at nanoscale. What happens next determines if a chip lives or dies. We're entering the board line. This is where the brain comes together. If you like this tour, subscribe and stay with me. We're in the SMT prep hall. This machine lays down the paste that holds every part in place.
The line checks every board before components arrive. A tiny shift can throw off the entire process.
We're entering the placement lane. These heads move so fast your eyes can't follow.
Some of these parts are smaller than dust. The system hits every target with absolute precision.
This oven heats the board. The heat bonds each component into a single structure.
The boards cool at a controlled pace. This locks in the integrity of every joint.
We're in the inspection wing. These scanners catch problems faster than any human could.
If a defect appears, it gets flagged here first. Some are harmless. Others stop the whole line.
This is the imaging suite. Here we see what the eye can't. Sometimes the results look perfect, and sometimes they don't. What happens to those boards is something you'll want to see. We're in the stabilization wing. This is where the iPhone learns how to keep your photos steady.
These micro actuators respond to movement instantly. They correct shake before you see it.
This rig shakes harder than my hands after 3 coffees. If a module survives this, it's solid. We're entering the gyro section. These sensors track rotation so your phone knows its orientation. Each gyro gets tested at multiple speeds. The phone must know exactly when it turns. We're in the accelerometer hall. These chips detect every tilt and tap you make.
They push these chips harder than anything you will. A few fail. Some fail dramatically.
We're back to optics. Each of these stations polishes iPhone lenses until they're nearly perfect.
The coatings improve clarity and reduce glare. Even a thin layer changes the image.
A single scratch can ruin a lens. And we found something on one of these. Let me show you. We're in the sensor wing. This is where the camera begins to form its identity.
Each layer needs perfect alignment. Even a small offset affects how the phone captures detail.
The bonding process locks the layers together. Watching this in real time never gets old.
These charts test focus speed. The phone have to adjust before your eyes notice anything.
This rig moves faster than most pets. If the camera keeps up, it passes. We're in the audio wing. This is where iPhone speakers get their character. They tune every speaker for balance. One wrong frequency and the module gets pulled. We're in the mic zone. These arrays check pickup direction and clarity.
This adhesive is part of the water seal. The pattern needs to be perfect.
If the seal fails here, the phone cannot survive moisture. And one of these frames is about to fail. We're in the battery hall. These rolls get turned into the cells that power everything inside the iPhone.
The winding line builds the core of each cell. It has to stay perfectly aligned.
We're at the weld zone. These lasers seal the battery cell with absolute accuracy.
They test each cell through multiple charge cycles. The phone needs stable power from day one.
Here they group the cells into a full battery. Every connection matters.
These cables link everything together. They carry signals across the entire phone.
Technicians check alignment by hand here. Even a slight bend can cause long-term issues. The Taptic Engine gives the iPhone its feel. It's one of the most precise parts inside the phone. This bench checks vibration strength. Some units shake harder than my alarm clock.
This is where the iPhone gets its shape. And this next step can make or break the entire build.
We're in the structural line. These clamps reinforce the frame so the phone stays rigid. They test how much force each frame can take. Weak frames never move forward. The logic board arrives here. This is the brain of the iPhone entering the body. The arms place the board with exact pressure. One mistake can crack a connection. These pads help move heat away. They look simple, but missing one would ruin your day.
The graphite spreads heat across the phone. It keeps components from overheating.
These shields protect the phone from interference. Without them, signals would fight each other.
Robots press each shield perfectly. The alignment has no room for error.
These robots drive screws faster than most people blink. And they never lose one.
This simulates years of use in minutes. And one of these units is about to fail. Hard.
We're in the camera mount wing. This is where the sensor, lenses, and housing finally come together.
The system places the module with perfect pressure. A soft press locked it into position.
These screws hold the camera in place. If one shifts, focus stability drops instantly.
They test sharpness, color, and stabilization. This confirms the camera is ready for the world.
We're in subassembly. Here the phone starts to look less like parts and more like a finished device. This seal protects the phone from moisture. It needs to be perfect on the first try. We're in the display wing. These presses bond the screen so tight, it feels like one piece.
This bonding layer doesn't just remove gaps and bubbles. It's the hypercritical secret sauce that gives the finished screen that satisfying.
This is the Face ID area. These modules handle depth sensing and secure face mapping.
They test impacts from multiple angles. One of these drops is about to reveal something unexpected.
We're still in the validation hall. This rig simulates real-world drops. They check if the frame bends, cracks, or holds firm. They break dozens of units to study micro fractures and stress points. We're now in the polishing room, and this right here is where that aluminum frame starts getting that signature billion-dollar Apple shine.
They adjust pressure by hand. Machines guide the motion, but the finish still depends on expert eyes.
We're in the anodizing hall now. This is where the frame gets its color. Each shade needs exact voltage and timing.
The process strengthens the surface. It's color and protection in one crucial step.
We're in button assembly. They're testing the click here. If it doesn't feel right, they adjust it until it does.
Every button has a signature feel. Too soft or too stiff, and it fails the test.
We're heading into antenna assembly. These tiny strips decide how strong your signal really is.
They tune each antenna here. And in a moment, you'll see one test that almost failed. These speakers are small, but they need clean volume without distortion.
We're in the acoustic chamber. No echoes here. Even your footsteps sound strange.
They test the full spectrum. Bass, mids, highs, everything gets measured.
These are the Taptic Engines. They're the reason the phone feels alive when you press something.
They check amplitude and timing. If the feedback feels off, it gets rejected.
We're in the seal test hall. These chambers simulate rain, splashes, and pressure changes.
If the seal fails, moisture gets in, and you'll see what happens when it does. This is why those tests matter. Even a tiny leak destroys the internal components.
We're in the dust chamber hall. This machine blasts the phone with fine particles to test long-term durability.
If dust gets inside, buttons jam and speaker quality drops. Here, they confirm everything stayed clean.
We're in mesh testing. They hit these speakers with more air than most leaf blowers. Also, your audio stays crisp.
They check for tears or warping. Even a tiny flaw affects sound clarity.
We're in final fit inspection. Every edge, every seam must line up perfectly.
These scanners detect gaps you wouldn't see with the naked eye.
We're in the packaging line. This is where the iPhone meets its box, cable, and paperwork.
Robots handle the boxing to avoid fingerprints and pressure marks.
We're in outbound logistics. These pallets are almost ready to ship worldwide, but before they leave, one last test.
They simulate rough transport to make sure every box stays protected. After this, the journey begins.
We're in the allocation wing. Each device gets assigned to a region before loading. This step decides where your phone will ship.
Here they engrave the serial number. It's a unique ID that follows the device for its entire lifespan.
We're in anti-counterfeit validation. This scan confirms the parts are genuine and the build meets Apple's standards.
This module loads the encrypted keys that protect Face ID data and payment information.
We're in firmware load. Every device gets the latest iOS build before it ships.
They run a quick iCloud handshake to confirm the phone can sync and activate without issues.
We're in thermal baseline boot. They check how the phone starts under controlled temperature. It must boot clean and stable. They measure battery health from the first cycle. Anything outside the curve gets pulled. We're in the final staging area. These units are fully tested and ready to move to shipping.
And once they reach that tunnel, all that's left is the journey to your hands. But there's one final step ahead.
We're in final QC. These senior inspectors catch anything the machine's missed.
They zoom in to the micron level. Even a hairline mark is grounds for rejection.
We're in vibration testing. This simulates days of transport. Everything inside must stay perfectly aligned.
They check the labels for accuracy. If a barcode misreads, the box cannot leave the factory.
We're in pallet certification. They verify the weight, stack, and straps before loading.
These seals lock the pallet. If one is broken, they know immediately.
We're at the loading bay. Pallets head straight into secured trailers from here.
Each pallet gets a live GPS tag. That's how they track it from this building to the warehouse.
When those doors lock, the shipment is officially in transit. But there's still one final moment left.
That scan confirms everything. From here, your iPhone begins its journey across the world.
We followed the iPhone from the first screw to the loading bay. If you want more factory tours like this, hit subscribe. There's a lot more to explore.